My question to you is the same question I asked myself, and that is, do you know who you are? I was editing some footage the other day, and I was like, how did we get to this point? And at this point, where are we going? Where are we headed on this journey? And what prompted me to ask this question was because I was trying to figure out how long it took from me to realize the life I was living was not my own. I was just a good performer, I was a good actor, to then becoming that new version of yourself and living out a reality that is authentic to you. Living out a life where you have full ownership of your reality. There's so much power that comes from knowing who you are. So, I was trying to figure out how long the process took so I could then tell you how long the process took. But honestly, that doesn't even matter because our journeys are going to be different. You might have a lot of pieces of your personality identity puzzle that don't belong to you that you need to fix, or you are pretty aware and there's not a lot that you want to change. Whether you want to change at all is not really up to you. And the reason I say that is because I truly believe that in this life we're given, we're going to experience an abundance of identities and personalities, right? And from those, different realities, different versions of ourselves, different lives, right? I told you before I've lived many lives, and that's because I've had many personalities, a lot of which that didn't belong to me, but I digress. As long as you're breathing, you're going to continue to grow, change, process information, and continue having experiences. God bless. There's a quote by Eartha Kitt that I love so much that says, "The tombstone will be my diploma." She is always growing, she is always learning. So if you don't like it, you can fix it. And if you like what you see, you can improve it. But there's no way you can experience what it means to live, experience the abundance of life. Life has so much to offer us, but you're not going to get anything out of it if you are complacent, if you are not growing, if you are not changing. And so, in between the point of realizing this version of you doesn't belong to you to I know who I am, that in between is where a lot of the magic and the chaos happens, because we're actually going to have to look inward. You cannot ask ChatGPT for the answer. You cannot ask your family members for the answer. You cannot ask your friend. It's going outside of ourselves to find the answers that have got us stuck in a situation where we don't know who we are. So I'm in the middle, and you probably are too. And it's a little chaotic, it's a little lonely, it's a little beautiful, it's a little sad, it's a little depressing, it's a little scary, it's a little exciting, it's life. A lot of you may have seen the title and thought, of course I know who I am. Like, who the fuck are you? You know? Or some of you are like, I'm asking myself that same question. And then there's that other group that's just curious. And I love a curious mind. I love learning. Like I said, if you're not learning, you're not growing. But anyway, I didn't ask the question to be rude. I didn't ask the question to tell you that I have the answer for you of who you are, because I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. I'm asking the question so that we're not one of those people who fall victim to complacency and just that conveyor belt line of just following the status quo, not changing, not asking questions. The group of people who enjoy playing in blissful ignorance. Ignorance is bliss because you lack the knowledge, and when you lack the knowledge, you don't really have to take accountability. So there's that group of people who is okay with what's going on in their life, because it's easier to just continue that way than it is to look at ourselves and be honest with ourselves and question the things around us. When I was younger, an adult hated to see me coming. I'm asking questions. I want to know why, especially when it came to topics like religion. Why? So I'm asking you, do you know who you are? Not to be rude. I'm asking simply to make sure you're not an extra in your own storyline, because that would be an awful way to live. And honestly, the question started showing up in really small places for me, like when it came time to decorate my house. I remember wanting the space to feel more like me, but then I realized I didn't even know what that meant, because I'm going for this clean, minimalist, neutral color home decor, right? Bedroom inspo. And I'm like, that just doesn't do it for me. I don't look at that and be like, it shows who I am, because I am a big personality. I am a big character, okay? I'm a Gemini. Hello? And minimalist and clean, I like it. It's just not for me. So style and identity are very much connected. The way you dress, the way you decorate, the environments that you're drawn to, the aesthetics you prefer, they all say something about you. Or at least they're supposed to. And so the disconnect I was feeling made me stop and ask myself, why doesn't this feel like me? Why doesn't this feel like mine? Why am I not showing up in this? Why is my personality missing from this? And naturally, that question led to more questions. Because identity is discovered through conscious examination, not assumption. So I had to ask myself, when looking for home decor and with anything in my life, because I've used this process more than once, do I even like this? Simple enough, right? Or have I seen it so many times, I've mistaken familiarity for identity? And once I honestly and truthfully answered that question, and then I asked myself, have I experienced this for myself? Have I tried this out? And that is why I can say I like or don't like it. Once I asked that question, I had to ask another question. Because when we ask ourselves, why do we like something? It is so easy for us to default to, I don't know. But like I just said, identity is not discovered through assumptions. So I don't know is not an answer that's going to cut it when you're trying to know yourself. It just doesn't make sense, right? From that, I had to ask another very important question. Does this belong to me, or does it belong to someone else? And if the answer was someone else, that's not always an automatic bad thing. Being influenced by others is not bad all the time. Because identity isn't created in isolation. Think about it. If you lived in a box, your entire life you grew up in a box, there is no way you could be who you are right now. Because identity isn't created in isolation. We're inspired and influenced by people all the time. So even if I did like something because of someone else, because I was influenced by someone else, I would still ask myself another question to go just a little deeper, because I still needed to understand what about that I specifically connected to. So instead of asking, do I like this? Because we already asked that question, I started asking, what do I like about this? Is it the feeling? Is it the pattern? Is it the structure? Is it the colors? What was it? What is it about this thing that I love? And this is how I got to know myself. This is how I get to continue to discover who I am, to become who I am. I realize getting to know yourself isn't one big discovery. It isn't one moment. It isn't one aha. It's a series of small observations, piece by piece. The puzzle, the portrait of who I am is created. That's so exciting. Thinking about because I like puzzles, thinking about yourself as an actual puzzle and all the pieces it takes to make you who you are. But the fun part about that is you get to decide if a piece stays there. You get to decide how that portrait looks. You get to decide what goes and what doesn't go. Thank the Lord. You are the creator of your own reality. That was a gift given to us. And it's so special, it shouldn't be wasted. I think a lot of people are trying to become someone without ever stopping to ask themselves, what's underneath all that performance? And maybe that's why so many people feel disconnected from their own lives. Hopefully, by now, you've gotten the answer. If not, I'll tell you. The answer to who you are isn't something you say once. And it damn sure isn't something that can be put in a sentence or said within 6-7 words. The answer to who you are is something you keep discovering, something you keep adding to, something you keep intentionally and consciously building and becoming. Here we are. I'm done with that tangent. That's it.